I never thought betrayal would come from the man I once called my best friend. But the truth has a cruel way of ripping through illusions. It all began with a letter. I was in the kitchen, sipping my morning coffee, when the mail slipped through the slot. Bills, junk flyers, and then an official envelope from the bank. I frowned. We weren't expecting anything. My hands trembled as I tore it open. The words blurred before my eyes. Account balance, $132.17. My stomach dropped. This wasn't just any account. This was her account. Our daughter Emma's college fund. The money we'd been saving since the day she was born. For 12 years, every birthday check from her grandparents, every bonus I got from work, every penny we could spare, we put it there. It wasn't much compared to others, but it was ours. Her future. And now it was gone. David, I shouted, my voice shaking. David. My husband appeared in the doorway, casual as ever, tugging on his tie. What's wrong? I shoved the paper at him, my heart pounding. Where's Emma's college fund? Tell me this is some kind of mistake. His eyes flickered, just for a moment, but I caught it, that flash of guilt. Then came the sigh, the dismissive wave. Relax, Sarah. It's complicated. Complicated? My voice cracked. Our daughter's future is gone. Explain it to me. He rubbed his forehead, then leaned against the counter as if this was a business meeting. I needed the money. I'll pay it back. Don't make a scene. My breath caught in my chest. You needed the money? For what? David, we agreed Emma comes first. That's when the smirk appeared. Cold. Unfamiliar. You wouldn't understand. It's better this way. My world tilted. A dozen red flags I'd ignored suddenly clicked into place. The late nights, the sudden expenses, the secretive phone calls. David, I whispered, is there someone else? Silence. And then, with a shrug so casual it sliced me open. She makes me feel alive again. My knees buckled. 12 years of sacrifices. Sleepless nights. A marriage I thought was built on loyalty. And he had stolen from his own daughter to fund his affair. I can't do this, I whispered. Tears blurred my vision. You didn't just betray me. You betrayed her. But David wasn't moved. He grabbed his briefcase, checked his watch, and muttered, You'll thank me one day. Don't poison Emma against me. Kids don't need to know everything. He left. Just like that. The slam of the door echoed through the empty kitchen. I collapsed into a chair, the bank statement trembling in my hands. How was I going to tell Emma? How could I explain that her father had chosen another woman over her future? My mind raced through every possible way to soften the blow. But Emma wasn't stupid. She was only 12, but she had the kind of sharp mind adults underestimated. That evening, when she came home from school, her backpack bouncing against her shoulders, she noticed my red-rimmed eyes instantly. Mom? What's wrong? I tried to smile. Failed. Sweetheart, we have a problem. She sat beside me at the table, her little hand covering mine. Is it Dad? My throat tightened. Yes. He took the money we were saving for your college. Her eyes widened. All of it. I nodded, tears spilling over. I'm so sorry, baby. I tried to protect it, but... She straightened in her chair, a fire sparking in her gaze I had never seen before. Don't be sorry. He doesn't get to do this. Not to us. I blinked at her. Emma. Her voice was steady, fierce. If Dad thinks he's smart, he doesn't know who he's messing with. I'll get it back. I almost laughed through my tears. You're 12. But Emma only leaned forward, her eyes shining with determination. I'm 12. And I'm smarter than he thinks. Something inside me shifted then. Hope. The kind that refuses to die, even in the ashes. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. But in that moment, I realized my daughter wasn't just a child. She was a fighter. And David had no idea what storm he had unleashed. Emma, just 12, vows to outsmart her father and take back what he stole. The day after the confrontation, I woke up with swollen eyes. Sleep had been impossible. My husband, Eric, had already left for work. At least that's what he wanted me to believe. But deep down, I knew he wasn't at work. He was probably with her. I sat at the kitchen table with my coffee, staring blankly at the wall, when our daughter, Lily, patted in. She was just 12, but sharp in ways that sometimes scared me. "Mom," she asked, her voice hesitant. "Why were you crying last night?" I froze. How could I explain to a child that the man she looked up to, the man she called Dad, had betrayed us so completely? I forced a smile. "Just tired, sweetheart." But Lily tilted her head, those big brown eyes narrowing the way she did when she didn't believe me. "It's not just tired. Something's wrong. Is it about the college fund?" My chest tightened. My God, she knew. "Lily, what makes you say that?" She shifted in her seat, pulling her knees up. "I heard you and Dad arguing. I heard you say, he spent it." Her voice cracked on the last words. My heart broke. I wanted to shield her from this, to keep her innocence intact. But lying wasn't an option. Not now. I nodded slowly. "Yes, sweetheart. Dad took the money we saved for you. For your future." Her lips trembled, but instead of crying, she clenched her fists. "That's not fair. That was my money. He can't just do that." I blinked, stunned. She wasn't collapsing in tears, she was furious. And in that moment, I realized something. Lily wasn't going to be a victim in the story. She was her mother's daughter. The next few days felt like walking through fire. Eric came home late, offering excuses so flimsy I didn't even bother to challenge them. Traffic. Extra hours. Helping a friend. All lies. Every time I looked at him, I thought of the years of trust he destroyed with one selfish decision. But Lily, she was watching. She was quiet, observant, and far too clever for a 12-year-old. One night, as I tucked her into bed, she whispered, "Mom, I think I know how we can prove what Dad did." I froze. "What do you mean, honey?" She grinned mischievously, that spark of determination lighting up her young face. "You know how Dad's always on his phone? He doesn't know I watch. I've seen him type her name, Jessica, when he thinks no one's looking. I can get into his phone." My jaw dropped. "Lily, no, you can't." But she cut me off, shaking her head. "Mom, he's lying to us. He stole from me. I want to help. Please." I stared at her, torn between protecting my child and admiring the courage blazing inside her. Could I really let my 12-year-old step into this mess? Yet, wasn't it her future he had gambled away? Didn't she have the right to fight for it? The following Saturday, Eric left his phone on the counter while he showered. Lily glanced at me, her expression deadly serious. Now or never. My pulse raced as she snatched it up with nimble fingers. "Mom, quick, what's his code?" I swallowed. I didn't know. But Lily, with that sharpness of hers, smirked. "I bet it's our birthdays. Dad's predictable." She typed in her own birthday. Wrong. She tried mine. Wrong. Then her eyes lit up. "Jessica's birthday." I gasped. "Lily, how would you?" "I saw it on a receipt once. He bought her flowers." My blood turned to ice. She entered the date. The phone unlocked. My breath caught in my throat. There it was, dozens of messages. Hotel bookings, dinner reservations, and pictures. God, the pictures. Lily's hands shook, but she didn't cry. She scrolled, her jaw tight, her eyes burning with anger. "Mom," she whispered, "this is proof. He's stealing from us. He's lying to us. We can use this." I wanted to snatch the phone away, shield her from the filth on that screen. But I didn't. Because she was right. This was the evidence I needed. And she had been the one smart enough, brave enough, to get it. That night, when Eric walked through the door, smiling like nothing was wrong, I looked at him differently. I wasn't the broken wife anymore. I wasn't the woman begging for answers. I was the mother of a brilliant 12-year-old who had just given me the ammunition to bring him down. But the real surprise? Lily wasn't done. Not even close. Because the next words out of her mouth would set a chain of events in motion that Eric never saw coming. "Mom," she whispered after he went upstairs, "I have an idea. But you have to trust me." I wish I could tell you that I calmly confronted him, that I laid down the law as soon as I discovered the betrayal. But the truth? I froze. For days, I walked around in a fog. I still had to get Emma to school, still had to keep up appearances at work, still had to cook dinner and pretend life was normal. But inside, everything was shattering. At night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling while Steven snored beside me. I replayed every moment in my head, the times he said he had to work late, the sudden new clothes, the way he'd flinch if I touched his phone. How had I missed all of this? But then another thought pressed in, heavier than heartbreak, Emma's future. That fund wasn't just numbers in a bank account. It was years of scraped-together savings. It was me taking extra shifts at the library. It was Emma's babysitting money she proudly deposited at age 11. It was every birthday check from her grandparents that she never spent, always saying, "It's for college, Mom." And now it was gone. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tear the house apart. But what I wanted most of all was to fix it. Somehow. The next Saturday, Emma was sprawled on the living room floor with her homework, pencil tapping against her cheek. I sat down beside her, trying to mask the storm inside me. "Sweetheart," I began, "do you remember that college fund we've been adding to?" She looked up, cautious. "Yeah. Why?" I swallowed hard. "Your dad made a mistake with it. Some of the money is gone." Her pencil stilled. Her eyes narrowed. She's always been sharp, sharper than I sometimes give her credit for. "He took it, didn't he?" I hesitated, and that was enough. She knew. The silence stretched. Finally, Emma whispered, "He doesn't care about me." "Don't you ever say that," I snapped, too harshly. My voice cracked. "He does love you. He made a very selfish choice." But the damage was done. She blinked fast, fighting tears, and I realized with horror that this wasn't just about money anymore. It was about her trust, her belief in her father, and maybe even in me. That night, after Emma was asleep, I sat at the kitchen table and stared at the cold glow of the laptop. I typed in how to recover stolen money, what to do if spouse empties joint account, college funds stolen. The answers weren't encouraging. Divorce lawyers, legal jargon, months of battles, thousands in fees. And Steven? He still strutted around as though nothing had happened. He even had the nerve to ask me if I'd iron his shirt for a meeting. I wanted to throw it in his face. But then something happened that changed everything. One Wednesday evening, I was chopping onions when Emma padded into the kitchen. She had her Chromebook under her arm, the one the school issued. "Mom," she said softly. "Yes, baby." "I think I found something." I frowned, wiping my hands on a towel. She set the Chromebook down, pulled up a screen, and turned it toward me. It was a spreadsheet. Not a school spreadsheet. Not her homework. Something else. "Where did you get this?" I whispered. Dad left his laptop open. I copied it onto a flash drive. My stomach dropped. "Emma." But then my eyes landed on the numbers. Transfers. Payments. Names. One name, repeated over and over alongside suspiciously large transactions. Melissa Carter. It wasn't just dinners or gifts. He was paying her rent, her utilities, even transferring cash directly into her account. And then I saw it, bold, impossible to miss. A line labeled, "College Fund Withdrawal." He hadn't even tried to hide it. He had moved the money straight into Melissa's account. I felt sick. Emma's voice was quiet but fierce. He gave my college money to his girlfriend. Her words sliced me open. I wanted to shield her from all of it, to tell her she shouldn't have snooped, that this was grown-up business. But part of me knew she was already in it. Too deep. Emma leaned forward, eyes blazing. "Mom, we can use this." "He's so careless. He left everything right there. If he tries to lie, we can prove it." I stared at her, my 12-year-old daughter, suddenly sounding like someone twice her age. "Emma," I began, voice trembling. "We can't just." But she cut me off. "We can. He thinks he's smarter than us. But he's not." For the first time in weeks, I saw something new in her face. Not just hurt, not just betrayal, but determination. And right then, something shifted in me too. I realized Steven had underestimated us both. He thought he could strip away Emma's future, tear apart our family, and we'd just crumble. But he was wrong. Because my daughter wasn't just going to fight back. She was already planning it. The day of the hearing felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. I was terrified because for years, Daniel had always managed to twist things in his favor. But this time, I wasn't alone. When the judge asked for evidence, Daniel's lawyer smirked like they had already won. He painted me as a bitter wife, inventing lies out of jealousy. He even said the college fund was never real, just an exaggerated family story. For a moment, my heart sank. But then Lily stood up. She wasn't supposed to speak, but she had begged me to let her. She looked so small in that big courtroom, but her voice, it carried louder than I'd ever heard. "Your Honor," she said, her voice shaking but strong. "My dad stole from me." But he forgot something. I'm not stupid. The courtroom went silent. Lily held up the printed screenshots, then showed her phone with all the backups. Every transfer, every message between Daniel and Rebecca. Even a voice recording of him bragging about how he used his kids' fund to keep Rebecca happy. Daniel's face went pale. His lawyer scrambled, trying to object, but the judge leaned forward. "Is this true, Mr. Parker?" Daniel stammered, his mask finally breaking. For the first time, the man who always had a comeback had nothing. The judge ordered a recess to review the evidence. And when court resumed, it was clear Daniel had been caught. He was ordered to repay every single cent, plus damages. The judge granted me full custody of Lily and froze Daniel's joint accounts until restitution was made. But the real moment, the one that broke him, came when the judge addressed Lily directly. "Young lady, your intelligence and courage just uncovered the truth adults tried to hide. You should be very proud." The courtroom erupted in whispers. Daniel's head dropped. Rebecca stormed out, her heels clacking like gunshots. "And Lily?" She smiled at me with tears in her eyes. For once, she wasn't the little girl caught in the middle. She was the reason justice had been served. When it was over, we walked out of that courthouse hand in hand. The air felt lighter, like chains had been cut. Daniel didn't just lose his mistress that day. He lost control. And my daughter? She proved something I'll never forget. When the people you love betray you, sometimes it's the smallest voice in the room that carries the most power. I didn't expect the final blow to come so soon. But when it did, it shook everything. The court case moved faster than I thought. With all the evidence, bank transfers, hotel receipts, texts, even that voice recording, Mark didn't stand a chance. The judge looked at him the way you look at a child caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Except this was no cookie jar. This was the theft of his own daughter's future. "Mr. Reynolds," the judge said sternly, "you knowingly and willfully diverted funds meant for your daughter's education. The law does not take that lightly. You will return the full amount, with interest, and pay damages for breach of fiduciary duty. In addition, due to your deceit, this court is granting full custody to Mrs. Reynolds." Mark's face went white. That smug arrogance he'd carried for months drained away in seconds. He glanced back, maybe searching for sympathy, maybe for someone to save him. But no one did. Not even Lisa, his mistress, who hadn't shown up since the truth went public. She dumped him the moment his money disappeared. It was over. Just like that. But the real victory wasn't in court. It came after. A week later, I sat down with Emily at the kitchen table. Spread between us was a thick folder, acceptance letters, scholarship offers, even emails from colleges eager to meet her after hearing her story. She looked up at me, eyes wide. "Mom, I don't have to worry anymore, do I?" I shook my head, smiling through tears. "No, baby, you don't. Your future is safe now. And it's all because you were brave enough to speak up." Her lips trembled, and then she threw herself into my arms. I held her tightly, breathing in her hair, realizing how close I'd come to losing everything. We weren't rich. We weren't perfect. But we had something stronger than money. We had truth. Mark tried reaching out, of course. He sent emails, left voicemails, even showed up outside Emily's school once, begging for a second chance. But the judge's order was clear: supervised visits only, and only if Emily wanted them. She didn't. One day, as we walked past the park, she saw him sitting on a bench, hunched over, looking smaller than I'd ever seen. She stopped for a moment, her hand tightening in mine. "Do you want to talk to him?" I asked gently. She shook her head. "He chose them, Mom. Not me. Not us. And I'm not giving him another chance to hurt me." I swallowed hard, proud of her strength, but heartbroken it had to come to this. We kept walking, leaving him behind, physically and in every other way. Months passed. Emily flourished. She started working on a project to help other kids learn about money, how to protect themselves, how to spot red flags, even how to set up accounts safely. One afternoon, her teacher pulled me aside. "Your daughter is remarkable," she said. "She's turning her pain into power. That's rare for someone her age." I smiled, blinking back tears. "That's Emily. She's stronger than she knows." And she was. Stronger than me, even. The real moment of closure came the night of her middle school graduation. Emily walked across the stage, her name called, her smile radiant. The auditorium filled with applause, but all I could hear was my own heartbeat. She wasn't just graduating school. She was graduating from the shadow of betrayal that had hung over us for months. After the ceremony, she turned to me, clutching her diploma. "Mom," she whispered, "we won, didn't we?" I cupped her face in my hands. "Yes, sweetheart. We did. Not just against him. Against everything he tried to take from us. Against the idea that we weren't enough." She smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "I love you. I love you more," I whispered back. That night, as I lay in bed, I finally felt peace. The scars were still there. The hurt would never fully vanish. But we had something stronger, resilience, hope, and a future no one could steal. Mark had tried to destroy us. Instead, he forged us into something unbreakable. And as I drifted to sleep, I thought of Emily's words. We won. Yes, we did. Not because of money, not because of revenge, but because a 12-year-old girl refused to let betrayal define her future. And that was the sweetest victory of all.